Hey Fragrance family, I'm Daver.
And I'm Max.
And we're the Fragrance Bros. Come at you again with a special guest, Max 4T from his channel, Max 4T. How are you doing, Max?
Doing great. How you doing, guys? How you doing, Fragcom? How you doing, Daver?
Doing great. Great to have you on. Really enjoy
Awesome
your
to be
channel.
here.
And you have a lot of videos you're putting out lately.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I try to be as consistent as possible. I think, consistency is key. I think that viewers, I think they expect a certain, amount of consistency, and I try to do as best as I can. I just got married, so I don't know how consistent I'll continue to be, but I'll try my best.
And today we are reviewing the new Sauvage by Dior. Now, date introduced is 2015, just this year as of this recording. It's classified as an aromatic. Notes are, and it's a really short list,
Oh boy.
ambroxan or ambergris, synthetic ambergris, Sichuan pepper, and bergamot.
That's probably one of the shortest, list of notes I've ever seen.
Outside of Molecule 01.
There you go. ISO super.
Now, Max, what do you get out of longevity out of this?
Actually, not too bad. I get about 4 to 6 hours on a good day. I've been wearing it quite a bit now for the past couple of weeks. Not too bad, actually, for a designer. 4 to 6 hours. I'm okay with anything above 6. I'm happy.
I got in the average range. I would say mine was probably around the 8-hour range. Maybe that was just a good day. I can't complain with that. Like as you said, for a fresh scent that lasts, pretty much all day, I can't complain about that at all. What about projection?
Projection, that's a problem. I'd say about 1 to 2 hours max.
Okay.
No pun intended.
Whenever I smelled it, it smelled like it was kind of in the average range for me. But my wife says it was really pushing out. And maybe it was just how much I wore that day, because I wore it from a sample.
Wow.
And whenever I wear something from a sample, I tend to kind of overspray. From my nose anyway, it was kind of just in the average range. But again, can't complain there either.
I think you're right, because before I cracked my bottle open, I had a little decant that I got at Sephora, and I actually went to church on Sunday, and I worked on that morning, and I could smell it still in the afternoon. I think I oversprayed because I just went through the whole little decant.
Yeah.
And I think that was the case.
Season, I would say this is great for spring and summer, obviously, and great for daytime. And purpose, I would say this is casual and work. Now, Max, what does this remind you of?
It's like, we were talking about it off camera. I think this is like in the same genre and vicinity. I know there's a lot less notes, but it's kind of like reminiscent of like a Bleu de Chanel, those kind of fragrances that are like easy to wear, easy to just, pick up and spray and go. Easy to please. People like the smell. You're going to please people around you. And I think that's the kind of fragrance that I think of when I think about this fragrance. It's going to be like something like Bleu de Chanel or Chanel L'Homme Sport, those kind of fragrances,
Yeah, this is getting a lot of comparisons to Bleu de Chanel, which I think is really kind of funny because Bleu de Chanel is generally really well received.
I know.
And this is generally really not.
I know, but if you think about it, when Chanel, I think, was introduced in 2010, it was the same thing. It was getting a lot of flack until it caught on and people started to say, hey, this thing is good. It gets a lot of compliments. Women like it. So then it got into like this different stratosphere that people are really appreciating it. But in the very beginning, I think it's the same thing that's going to happen to this. I probably think within the next 6 months to a year, this thing will be talked about in a positive manner by a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, you might be right about that. What I really think is funny about this is such a polarizing fragrance, but whenever I smell it, to me, like I don't understand why.
I know. I like the smell. It's very pleasant. There's nothing wrong with the smell. I guess they were expecting something groundbreaking again from Dior, because Dior is such a company. With Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme, all these great fragrances, the Privé line. I guess they're expecting something amazing, and all of a sudden they put something out that's just, to please the masses, universal appeal, and people just get, especially, frag heads like ourselves, we always want something that's going to be the next amazing fragrance,
I've seen a few reviews of this, and it goes from worst fragrance ever to a 10 out of 10.
I know.
And I kind of don't understand either position. This is definitely not a bad fragrance, and I'll get to what it smells like in a minute. But it's definitely not an amazing fragrance either. And everyone has a different opinion of it, obviously, so I can't say that they're wrong. To me, this is a very simple fragrance. It is a very fresh scent, and it starts off with a lot of bergamot, and very citrusy and some muskiness in there. You know, they say there's some Szechuan pepper in there. I don't know if I exactly know what that smells like, but there is something in there that kind of gives it kind of a woody or somewhat of a backbone in there, and a masculine backbone. Especially at the opening, I actually really like this scent. I think it smells great.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Dave. I really enjoy the opening. If that opening stayed for longer, because a lot of people even compare the opening to Ventus a little bit. It has that like nice fruitiness with the bergamot and something that just gives off that real beautiful opening. If that stayed longer, I think people would really appreciate this fragrance. Yeah,
totally agree. And that brings me to my next issue with this fragrance is I don't like the dry down that much.
Same here.
On Facebook, I kind of teased a term that I was going to make, because on this channel we have a few terms that we've kind of coined that have kind of taken off. We didn't invent beast mode, but we kind of popularized it in the fragrance community.
I know.
We talked about Vivaldi scents, which are all four seasons.
All 4 seasons, yep.
We talked about dumb reach, you know, baloney cologne. And I want to talk about another term that I want to make, and I want to call it the molecule. The molecule is it smells like the mall, a scent that has something that smells like the mall.
Absolutely. Like Abercrombie and Fitch, those kind of fragrances.
Yes, exactly. I can think of a number of other ones. They have the molecule, okay?
Absolutely, I agree.
This has the molecule in it. And at the beginning, you don't smell it as much, but in the dry down, it's all molecule.
Definitely.
You know? It's all that mall scent. So I don't really like the dry down at all. You know, I have a lot of trusted friends and noses, and a lot of them really don't like this fragrance a lot. I understand kind of both places where people are. You know, I think this is a very pleasant scent. You know, like we were just talking about, the opening I think is beautiful. I love the opening. I think it's amazing, but the dry down just sucks.
I think what they're trying to do with this fragrance, Dave, I think they're trying to capture a younger crowd. You know, like you said, the mall scent. You know, because Sauvage is more of like, I mean, it was from 1966, so it's very mature. The whole, you know, Eau Sauvage line. They tried a little bit with the Parfum, but I think it still didn't get the demographics they were trying to capture. I think with this fragrance, they're definitely trying to capture more of a younger crowd, or, you know, like college kids and things like that. I think that's why it has that mall appeal to it. That's what I think. I mean, I think that's the company was going for.
You could be right, and you know, if they're going for that, I think they're going in a really great direction, because I think this is better than all of those typical mall type of scents. You know, this has a sophistication about it.
Yes.
That I actually really like.
Yes, it has an elegance and a sophistication that's above those scents. Absolutely.
There's a simplicity about it that is actually really nice too. You know, I don't dislike simple fragrances if they're done really well. There's something about this fragrance that has the Dior quality. It seems like it's really well put together, really well crafted in the way that it's made. I like it more than Bleu de Chanel. I like it more than, I do.
Oh, wow.
I don't love this scent. I think there are some things I don't like about it, but I do like it. A lot of the naysayers are talking about how this is very generic, this is very bland. Some say it has a metallic vibe. I don't really get the metallic vibe, but I understand the criticisms here. I understand how people can see it as generic, because it is a very safe scent. It is something this is really not unique.
Right.
This is not something unique coming from Dior, but at the same time, I think it's really well done coming from Dior. And I also need to say, Dior did not pay me for this review.
Neither did I. I didn't get paid, not a cent.
But, you know, I understand the complaints about this fragrance being generic, because Dior is an innovator in the industry. Dior's stride is when they're innovating, not capitulating.
Correct.
And I think this is kind of one of those things where it seems like, from people like us who love
because we look up to Dior. We look up to them.
Exactly. We look up to them.
Absolutely.
It seems like they're more capitulating to the crowd.
At this point, yes.
Yes.
They're doing a little bit.
Than trying to innovate. But at the same time, you know, I have to kind of review this as the scent itself. And I think the scent itself smells good.
It's a good scent, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think it's worth necessarily the hate, but at the same time, I don't think it necessarily deserves, you know, the highest score ever.
Absolutely.
So Max, what about compliments? Did you get many compliments while wearing this?
I actually did. The first, like I said, when I went to church and over the past week and a half that I've been wearing this a lot, actually the first hour and a half, a lot of people asked me, what are you wearing? You smell really good, where can I get it? So when I told them it's a new fragrance, they wanted to know, where could they find it? Actually pretty good, not bad. I'd say above average, good compliments.
Well, that's cool. My wife actually, she thought this smelled good, but because it was really loud the day that I wore it around her, she said it was nice but loud. Other than that, I really didn't get many notices. I talked to a couple people who smelled it and they said, oh, it smells pretty good. And that was about it. I think this is one of those fragrances where it's not going to blow people away,
right,
but it's really likable despite that.
Definitely.
Because it's a very fresh, clean, citrusy scent with, a little bit of masculine edge to it. Now, bang for buck, this is $89 for 100 ml, which I think is actually a very good deal for what you're getting. Depends on if you love or hate this scent, really,
right,
how you're going to perceive the value. But $89 for 100 ml, I think is a good deal for a Dior scent.
I think because Dior is not, they don't have as strong hold as Chanel has with their fragrances, because Chanel, usually you can't find it in discount sites at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if people have a little patience and they want to get 100 ml of this, they'll be able to find this discounted, I probably want to say within the next 6 months or so. By next year, they should be able to find this on like Fragrance Nat and all those sites for probably, I don't know about half of the price, but
yeah,
a good amount of discount, because I don't think this is probably going to take long to be discounted. I don't know if it's going to do that well. Who knows?
Yeah. I think it's going to have a lot of bottles out there, so regardless of how well it sells, I think there's probably going to be some surplus somewhere.
I agree.
So final rating, what do you give this?
I'd say 3. It's a good fragrance. Definitely a 3. Solid release. Nothing amazing, outstanding, but it's a good fragrance.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 as well. For the same reasons, I think this is a good fragrance. I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever smelled.
Oh, far from it.
It's a likable fragrance. And I think this really kind of says a lot for Aventus in some ways. Like you made the Aventus connection. I think there is an Aventus connection there. I think this is almost kind of like Dior's take on that type of genre, which is a masculine citrus musky scent. If you can't afford Aventus, maybe you should try Sauvage.
Maybe
it's not exactly this. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but it's in the same family. I think it's a very likable scent. It's not groundbreaking. It's not going to blow you away probably, but it's nice. And outside of the dry down, which I didn't really love, it's a good scent.
It really is. And the thing is, like a lot of these guys, these frag hands, like we are, they're expecting, because the nose behind this is François de Manchy, which is the same guy who did Dior Homme Intense, Dior Homme, Dior Parfum. So they're waiting for this amazing fragrance. But like you said, I think it's definitely a 3. It's a good fragrance. Bang for your buck. It's not bad. 100 ml, 89 bucks. Can't go wrong.
So that's all we have for Sauvage. Let us know what you think of it down in the comments down below. Do you like it, love it, hate it? Let us know. And of course, like and subscribe down below. We'll love you for it. And I'll have a link down below to Max's channel where you can go check out his videos. Thank you so much for coming on, Max. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, David. It's a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
And we're going to have him on another time for another really good review. So that's all we have. We'll see you next time. We're the Fragrance Bros. Bye.
By the way, Johnny Depp, if you out there, let us know, what do you think about this fragrance?
Yeah, that's right. He probably doesn't wear any fragrances, I bet.
I know. Probably wear oils.
That's right.